Hello and welcome to The Big Fight. So, elections are approaching, and whenever elections approach, one subject always emerges again, and that is the possibility of a third front government. Now, at the present moment, it has to be said that if you go by the opinion polls and anecdotal studies and what most pundits seem to be saying, the BJP and Narendra Modi seem to have the edge right now. But the third front is still an idea that is being spoken about. There was attempts to get parties together. We heard what Mr. Modi had to say about that particular idea, but that is still a construct that is out there right now. So on the Big Fight today, we are going to be questioning whether there is any possibility at all of a third front government, and if there is, what would be the shape and the form of it. So let's say for some reason the polls are all wrong and the BJP doesn't get close to a majority and it is a third front government, what is the possible shape that it could take? And we've assembled, I think, on this show just about all the candidates who could possibly be there in the third front, and we're going to see what the possible permutations and combinations could be. So let me start by introducing all of our panels, and we do have with us Abhishek Singhvi of the Congress Party, and we have with us JVL Narasimha Rao of the BJP, who are obviously not contenders for the third front. But we also have with us Pawan Verma, who's the advisor for culture and information to Nitish Kumar with the rank of cabinet minister. So he representing the JDU, which is a name which is now being spoken about there in the third front. We also have with us Mr. D. Raja, National Secretary of the Communist Party of India. And whenever you talk about a third front, the CPI always is a name that is taken, as indeed is the Samajwadi Party. So we do have with us Gaurav Bhatia, head of the legal cell of the Samajwadi Party. We also have with us Kendra Shekhar Roy, who's Rajya Sabha MP from the Trinamool Congress. Now, TMC getting into the third front, I guess the question is how can they be in the same place as the left front, but no doubt we will try and see where we end up with that. We have Kalikesh Narayan Singh Deo from the BJD, an NDA supporter till not that long back. Could it be part of a third front or could it not? We'll have to see. What's going to happen in the south and in Tamil Nadu in particular? Perhaps Mr. T.R. Ramachandran can shed some light on that. He's a senior journalist who's kept a very close eye on proceedings, especially in South India. And we also have with us Ashok Malik, who's a senior journalist who can also help bring some sense to all of this. The third front is an idea that often seems to be coming from the left parties and is a long cherished dream of the left parties. But given the way the opinion polls right now are pointing, do you think there is any chance of a third front at all coming in 2014?
Firstly, we are not calling it as a third front. What we are trying to bring all non-Congress, non-BJP political forces, social forces together to provide a credible, viable alternative for the people. The situation that prevails in the country, the situation that is emerging in the country demands an alternative to both Congress and BJP. People are looking for an alternative, a credible alternative. That is possible. Today it looks possible. After the elections it may turn out to be a reality. But we will have to wait for the mandate of the people, because it is people who look for an alternative to the policies pursued by the Congress Party as well as BJP. There is hardly anything to choose between Congress and BJP.
You say that people want an alternative, but can I just say that if you're looking at the math, and let me throw this to some of the other possible members of the third front, if you look at the 11 parties that on the 5th of February said they're going to be working together as one bloc in Parliament, 4 left parties, Samajwadi Party, AIADMK, AGP, JDS, BJD, whichever the parties there were. If you look at it, it adds up to 92. That's what it adds up to right now in the Lok Sabha. If you take all possible combinations, permutations, upside, it might be 120, it could be 130. At the end of the day, what Mr. Raja was saying, a credible and a stable alternative to the BJP or to the Congress Party, how do you possibly get there with 120 or 130 seats?
The surveys that I have been following, and not just one channel, there are many. In fact, if you put all the regional parties together, except the Congress and the BJP, which are national parties, the number is in fact more than what the Congress and the BJP would get. First thing.
But hang on, now, can I just press the pause button for a second? That's a major assumption to make. Yes, put all the regional
Now,
parties together, it's possible. How are you going to get
I
the
will-
Trinamool Congress to be together with the
I
left?
will
How are
tell
you going to
you,
get
now it
Mayawati
is-
to be together with Mulayam Singh
Now
Yadav?
it is about
DMK
stitching an
together with
alliance.
AIADMK.
Now it is
How are you gonna do
about
it?
stitching an alliance of all the parties who have a common minimum program, who can provide stability to the nation. They can give a 5-year government. And why this is possible? Because, in fact, Delhi is a very good example. What happened in Delhi? People thought it would be the BJP, but a third power emerged in the Delhi. In the state of Delhi, and suddenly people went towards that third alternate. And this is exactly what would happen in the national scenario also, that where people would get an option because they have been let down by Congress, which has been a coalition government of scams. The BJP, I think it is not just about secular credentials, which is definitely a worry. But it is not only about secular credentials. It is also about just one person dominating the whole party. Okay. There is no democracy within the party. Also, the people are therefore drifting towards this regional alliance that would be formed.
Well, we'll still wait to see. But can I just ask you, for example, the Trinamool Congress, would you rather be with the Congress party, with the BJP, or with the left?
Neither with Congress, nor with the BJP, nor with the left. Congress has ruled this country for 56 years. Now it is the time for the regional parties to forge alliance and to go for a federal front to rule this country.
Fine.
Go
But
back to the states, not the central hegemony.
Okay, that's still slightly more rhetorical than numbers. I'm still trying to see where the numbers add up. Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I do. I think, forget what's happening today and what political parties are saying. The probability of both the BJP and the Congress getting less than 275 is very high. The polls talk about Congress getting less than 100, BJP not crossing 150, 160. In which case, regional parties get more than about 300 votes, or 300 seats. And this front will emerge. It is possible that one or the other national party trying to preserve their own, identity or trying to preserve their own seats or their own security may offer to tacitly support it from outside, which has happened in the past. But the fact that regional parties have gained prominence wherever they exist, the fact that the Congress is accused with a bunch of scams whose image is completely washed out, and the fact that the BJP fights from mere 300, 350 seats, it's very highly likely that both the national parties will fall short of the magic number, in which case a front will emerge.
But what you seem to be saying, and we are now getting closer to what the possibility is, that if the third front still doesn't have the numbers outside support from the Congress party or the BJP.
I didn't say that. I said
but you alluded to it, and that might be the only way that this is possible.
I said
that's the way it happened in the 1990s. It
well,
was
that's the way it
a
happened
third front government with outside support from the Congress party.
That's the way it happened in 1990. But in this particular incident, in 2014, I am keen to believe that both BJP and Congress won't add up to 275. In which case you have regional parties, maybe with some contradictions, like in UP, like in Bengal. But even today, Mayawati and Mulayam Singh are supporting, in many ways, the UPA government. So it's not impossible.
Okay, fine. I get your point. Let me just come, Pawan, before I come to you, let me just get the two major parties as they are called. And Mr. Rao, I'm going to ask you about some of the specific comments that Mr. Modi has made. But Dr. Singhvi, if I come to the Congress party, given that most of the polls and popular perception and whatever you take a look at seem to be pointing to the Congress certainly not getting the numbers to form another government, there are many who say that the Congress party is happy with the prospect of a third front, which possibly you could support from outside, because you would view that as a better alternative than a Narendra Modi-led BJP government at the center.
Similar polls, similar prognosis, similar predictions, exactly the same, led Mr. Vajpayee to prepone the 2004 elections, and as they say, the rest is history. Neither India shone nor the polls shone. But having said that, let me address your two other points in half a minute. I think what is important is that instead of asking what will happen to the Congress and the BJP, because that certainly is subject to electoral arithmetic, the third front has two huge problems amongst many others. Problem number one, regaining its credibility. It has had a history. It has had history virtually from the 70s, but in particular from the late 90s, late 80s, and then in the 90s. And that regaining that credibility is going to be a big challenge. It has split like amoeba. Thirdly, it has to provide, or at least seem to be able to provide, stability, which again, it has a clear perceptual problem there, because there is clearly a question mark around stability. And last but not the least, Vikram, there are huge internal contradictions, and that is really a crux of the matter. Because you're talking numbers, then the numbers don't add up if you have within the same megafold of a third or a fourth front, the Trinamool fighting the left and never the twain shall meet, the DMK and the AIDMK the same position, the SP and the BSP the same position, and this could be cutting across so many other parties. So what is the formation, the arithmetic and the the shape and size of this third front is itself a big question mark.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Mr. Raja, can I just, I know you have to leave us. I'm just going to ask a couple of questions and then allow you to leave us. Mr. Raja, at the end of the day, the contradictions that are going to exist in a third front, in beliefs, in how you're going to be, one is going to be fighting with the other, how is that ever going to be overcome? How, for example, could you be in a position where you're in a government or supporting a government that has a Trinamool Congress in it, or BSP Samajwadi Party? How are these contradictions ever going to be overcome?
I would like to respond to what Mr. Abhishek Singh, Manu Singhvi told. That is, let us look at the past, what happened 70s, what happened in 80s, what happened in 90s. So it shows clearly that people are looking for a better alternative, a dependable, a viable alternative. They have lost confidence in the Congress party. They do not have hope in BJP. It is not the Congress and BJP alone can represent this country in true and full sense. There is a definite space for non-Congress, non-BJP parties which can articulate the concerns of the people, which can act in the interests of the people. This is what I would like to respond to Mr. Abhishek. Coming to the contradictions, yes, there are contradictions. These contradictions can be resolved, and always when there is a problem, there will be a solution. And we are a maturing nation, and political parties are also maturing. Political parties are learning lessons from the past, and they will be able to rise to the occasion, and they will be able to even respond to the confidence and the mandate of the people. That's what I'm saying. I know the experience. What happened in 1990s, United Front was formed. And ask Mr. Abhishek, when United Front was formed, it had a common minimum program. There were major plans, secularism, federalism, economic development with social justice, and a good governance, free from corruption, with transparency. And it was possible. What I am trying to say, people in 70s, in 80s, in 90s, now in 20s, people are trying, under having their own political experience, people are trying to have a better alternative. Political parties will should respond. There the left parties and non-BJP, non-Congress, secular democratic parties, regional parties are trying to come together and respond to the expectations of the people and demand of the emerging political situation in the country.
All right, Mr. Raja, thanks a lot for having joined us. Maybe one last closing comment you can make for us in one line.
I think the Congress party is on the way out. This is what I understand. And BJP cannot take the people for granted, and BJP should not think it is the automatic choice or substitute to Congress.
All right, Mr. Raja, thank you so much for having joined us.